welcome to another episode of Equity Mates. My name is Bryce, and as always, I am joined by my equity mate, Ren. How are you going?
I'm good, Bryce. I'm excited for this episode, but I know that you're excited for this episode.
I am excited for this episode.
We've been doing AusBiz, since the end of January?
Yeah.
And we haven't really spoken about crypto that much.
Well, we've been doing Equity Mates for 5 years now, and I don't think we've ever spoken about crypto other than my bold predictions, which is why I'm excited.
For those who have joined us late in the journey, Bryce at the start of the year predicted Bitcoin would be $90,000 by the end of the year.
Bold.
Bold, but
Yes.
you were tracking well. And look, we haven't touched on the crypto markets, but we know it's a big topic of interest. And so rather than the two of us trying to make heads or tails of it, we thought we'd get an expert in to help us understand it all.
Yes, so we have brought in Henrik Andersson, who is the Chief Investment Officer at Apollo Capital, to help us unpack what is going on in the crypto market at the moment. Henrik, welcome to Equity Mates.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So, Henrik, there is obviously a lot going on in crypto at the moment. People are probably very aware of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there's thousands of other different assets to invest in. Let's start at the top though. How would you describe the crypto landscape at the moment, given what we've seen over the last few months and obviously sort of since 2016, 17?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have really good momentum now in the crypto markets. We have seen new all-time highs in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two biggest crypto assets. We have seen investments from corporates. So we have seen the likes of MicroStrategy, a Nasdaq-listed tech company, investing directly in Bitcoin, and so have Tesla, as you might have heard. They recently invested $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. Square and others have followed as well. But I think most importantly, we are seeing a lot of innovation in the space. And a lot of interest, namely I think mostly in three sectors of the crypto markets. The first one being Bitcoin, and the second one being DeFi or Decentralized Finance, and the third one being something called NFTs.
So Henrik, we were going to save this question until the end, but I figure given you've just mentioned NFTs there, we should ask about it. It's an acronym we've both seen a lot, scrolling Twitter and the like. We looked it up before, non-fungible tokens. Can you explain to us what NFTs are and why they're important in the crypto world?
Yeah, sure. So we have seen a lot of interest in the NFT market, especially during the last few months. These are non-fungible tokens. That means that they are unique digital tokens that you can take ownership of. That could be digital art, it can be in-game items, or it could be kind of land or real estate in a virtual world. So that's what NFTs are, and we have seen something like $400 million of NFTs change hands recently. So a lot of interest in that market for sure. And it's one of that areas within blockchain technology where we think there will be long-term value.
So I saw earlier this week, Jack Dorsey listed his first tweet for sale. Is that an example of a NFT?
Yeah, that's one example. So I think there are bids over $2 million for that particular tweet. So it could be a piece of art that you can take ownership of, and you can say, I own this, and it's something that is digital. And you can take ownership of that, and you can prove it with help of the blockchain. So that's pretty powerful. It's very new kind of area, so it's a lot of experimentation going on. There's also something called NBA Top Shots, which is getting a lot of attention recently, where you can buy basically the digital version of sports cards.
I mean, yeah, it's fascinating. A lot going on in the space. Your work at Apollo Capital, you, among other things, obviously invest in crypto assets. Are you able to help us understand like where you're putting your money? Is it Bitcoin, thinking it's a medium of exchange, or is it a store of value? How do you think through these different, I guess, types of crypto assets?
Yeah, so for Bitcoin, I think the best kind of way to think about Bitcoin is as a potential store of value, maybe as a digital gold. the gold market is fairly big compared to Bitcoin. So the total value of all gold is around $10 trillion. So Bitcoin still has a long way to go if we were to catch up with the physical gold market. But more and more investors entering the space, big macro hedge fund managers, they see Bitcoin as an alternative to gold. So perhaps it can take more of that role. When we look at the properties of Bitcoin, it's actually in many ways stronger than gold's. There's a fixed supply of Bitcoin, and we know how much is out there. We know how much will be minted over the coming years. So that is a very, very strong narrative. I think that's the right way to think about Bitcoin. When it comes to the rest of the market, we mainly focus at Apollo on something called DeFi or Decentralized Finance, which is about automating financial services. You can think of it as a new financial infrastructure, if you like, that is being enabled by blockchain technology. And we have seen a huge rise of the people or the capital deployed in DeFi over the last 12 months.
So I think a lot of people would hear that explanation about decentralized finance, and it would sort of ring a bell. There's been a lot of conversation in the crypto community and I guess the broader financial community about trends in that direction. Could you give us a specific example of a company you've invested in or a coin that you've invested in that can help people in their minds sort of understand a concrete example of how crypto is helping decentralized finance?
Yeah, absolutely. So we divide the DeFi space in different sectors. So we have seen market fit in a few of those. So one is in the lending borrowing market. Another one is in something called decentralized exchanges. And the third one is in derivatives. So we actively invest in all those sectors. For example, in the lending borrowing market, we were an early partner with a protocol, a token called Compound. There's also another one called Aave in that market where we have invested in. There are now billions of dollars in lending taking place on the blockchain, basically using software instead of financial institutions. This software is running on Ethereum, for example. It's kind of always open. Anyone can use them if you can connect to the internet. If you're kind of connected to these blockchains, they're open for you to use, and it's proven to be really popular. So we have seen kind of the value capture in DeFi go from around 1 billion to 50 billion over the last 12 months. So the 5,000% increase in the value that is locked in DeFi over the last 12 months. So a very strong trend.
So Henrik, we get a lot of questions in our community about altcoins. We have another name for them, but I don't think we'll say it on the show. Shitcoins. How do you think about... I said it. I said it. We went there. But how do you think about, obviously, the two big cryptocurrencies being Bitcoin and Ethereum versus the many thousands of others that are coming on the market at the moment and providing opportunity for a lot of people to, I guess, punt or invest, whatever they want to call it. But how do you see that market playing out?
Look, there are thousands of crypto assets out there, as you mentioned, Bitcoin and Ethereum being the largest ones. And I think it's sort of a minefield out there for the average retail investor. Unless you follow the crypto markets really, really closely, it's probably quite hard to know which crypto assets will capture value long term. So I would be fairly careful with many of the tokens out there. Not everyone will have value long term. So that would be my advice. Do your research or stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum.
So Henrik, on that, to echo what Bryce is saying, so many people in our Equity Mates community ask us, but even we were at a party like last week and people were asking like, what's the next coin I should invest in? And it seems like everyone wants, the next Bitcoin, the next Ethereum. And, you say do your own research there, which everyone obviously should. How would someone go about doing their research if they were new to crypto and they wanted to find a cryptocurrency that had some long-term potential? What would be some of the things you would start? How would you start the research process when you come across a new coin?
Look, that's a really good question, and again, there are thousands of crypto assets out there. You could go to something like our website, apollocap.io, where we have a resources section where we have a lot of material to start learning about blockchain in crypto. That's probably the best way, but it's a fairly long path to go down, I think. But a lot of people are interested in the market, and if you spend enough time, I think you can probably learn to see kind of what has value out there potentially. But just keep in mind that the risk is very high. This is an extremely volatile market. It's been going up now, but it will come a time when the market goes down as well, and you can potentially lose a lot of money as well. So keep that in mind. Don't invest too much. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. But if you're interested, there's a lot of resources out there. I think our website is a good way to start.
Now, Henrik, everyone, it seems, on crypto Twitter loves to put a price target on Bitcoin.
Which is always a round number.
Yeah, it's always a round number. And Bryce, as someone who is crypto curious, shall we say, a little bit more than curious, couldn't help himself and put a price target on Bitcoin at the start of the year. He made a prediction that Bitcoin would be 90,000 USD by the end of 2021. As a crypto expert, as someone who works in this industry all day, every day, what do you think of his prediction?
Well, I think it's not bad. I think I will need to top him, right? So, at Bitcoin at 100,000 would equal the market cap of gold. So I think that's a really good milestone for Bitcoin if we were to reach that.
Yeah, I mean, look, my theory is that if you see the likes of Tesla and other Fortune 500 NASDAQ companies start buying Bitcoin and putting it on their balance sheet, then we're going to see it shoot right past 90,000. and if Elon keeps telling, directing the crypto market through his tweets, 46 million followers, who knows what's possible. But look, it's a fascinating space, Henrik, and we do thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your insights in cryptocurrency. It's a really complex market, and to Alex's point, finding and doing your own research is difficult. So I'm assuming our community can go to your website to find a bit more information than what we've covered today.
Absolutely. We have a section on our website called the resources. So head there, have a look, and do your own research, but be careful out there.
Be careful out there. Well, thank you, Henrik. Very much appreciate your time. We'll certainly bring you back on. Potentially, if Bitcoin hits 90,000, we can celebrate together. But we appreciate your time.
Maybe Bryce can get a copy of one of those posters.
Yeah, I want that poster in the background you've got.
Sounds good. See you soon.
Thank you, Henrik.
Thanks, Henrik.
That brings us to the end of our first crypto episode, but I'm sure it won't be the last time we discuss crypto on the show. If you would like more information on Equity Mates, head to equitymates.com. You can follow us on all of the socials or email us at contact@equitymates.com. But Ren, tomorrow we have Watchlist.
We have Watchlist Wednesday. We're done with crypto for the week. We're back to stocks. We've got Watchlist Wednesday with Julia Lee tomorrow, and then we round out the week with Magellan's portfolio manager of their high conviction fund, Chris Weldon, coming on to talk to us about investing in Asia. So big day tomorrow, Watchlist Wednesday, big episode to end the week. Hopefully you join us for both of those.
See you then.